It's good afternoon, and I see that the school children have already left. I would have wished them to be here. If they are here, I would request the teachers to please call them here, if they are here. Okay, so my presentation which I was going to give is on innovation as a first step to institution building. Briefly, for 34 years I've been in IIT Delhi, and I'm on right now with the private Bennett, the Times Group over here. So what I want to share with you is this dichotomy. It was called a conundrum, oxymoron, whatever you want to call it. But education is really at the heart of our country. Whether it's private, government, IITs, it doesn't matter. The regulators we've been talking about. So this 2 or 3 years which I've done is, as a kind of an entrepreneur, I've stepped out of IIT Delhi, and I want to see how things really are, how we can change it. And so that's the background I want to give before I start, that this is also kind of a journey for me to see that what we can do for this very crucial time for our country. So innovation in this conference and entrepreneurship have been the two keywords which we have heard since morning at least, and I'm sure yesterday also. Institutions which we want to build are, of course, the corporate sector, industry, as well as our universities. So this is the context. When we talk about innovation, what is it that we are seeing? So we look at, innovation means anything which is, these are standard definitions. It's a new idea or a device or a method. And when we look at innovation, we say that something is innovative if it meets new requirements or unarticulated needs or existing market needs. So this is the way we define innovation. This word innovation itself is sort of new. But if you look at education, terms keep on coming. But essentially, what is it that suddenly we want to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship? Is it something really new? Or is it something which was there and it has been coined in a new way? So if you look at this, so this again is a personal point of view over here. If I look at what is the landscape or environment around which innovation is there, the most important is the human resource, and that's why I wanted to look at the school children over here. The panelists before us in the other sessions talked about what were, the average age is 29, we have lots of youngsters, the world is looking to our youngsters. It's the most important aspect. Then we have what are the universities over here, the research universities, the institutions and the laboratories. All these need to be of world class, or let me not use the word world class. They have to be of a quality, of a standard. Each one of them. So the human resource has to be of a standard which we are worthy of. The laboratories, there has to be intensive R&D funding. Let me also clarify, innovation and R&D is sometimes confused and mixed up. See, research and development is at the core. These are the old terms which we have always lived with. Where does innovation come in over here? So, research and development is anything new. It's very similar to innovation. But typically it has required what is called a lot of R&D funding. It requires lots of new labs, government funding, etc. has been talked about. So, there's an intensive R&D funding without which innovation cannot work. So please, let's be clear that R&D is at the root. Innovation in small measures can come. But if you want to really do path-breaking innovations, then R&D has to be there. If you want to do innovation further, you need some access to what is called risk capital, right? Someone who's willing to take a risk and fund you. And that is why there's a whole set of investors, etc., which come in over here. Next is, of course, entrepreneurship. You need this kind of entrepreneurship and collaborative culture. Again, two words which have been used very often. We need to collaborate. We need to talk to each other. If you look at our present scenario right now, it is very divided. I'll give you one example. A child comes from school to a college or an institution. It's a total sea change for him. Right? First 6 months, any batch which comes in from a school, they have no clue what is going on. The way courses are taken are different. The way we even give them food in the mess. I mean, anything you name, it's a total difference. Why should there be such a step change? Out of 4 years, he takes at least 6 months to 1 year just trying to grapple with, normal things. He's losing time, precious time over here. So that's what I mean by saying, and I'll come back to this point in my next slide. I just have 5 slides, so it's not too long a journey. Innovative companies, where are our people going to go, right? I mean, it's really heartening to see so many youngsters on the dais and when they talk about their companies which they are forming. Great. I mean, this is where it's all going. But these companies, in turn, they need to nurture what are called innovation and innovative companies, not standard run-of-the-mill companies. So now let's go back, and perhaps my last slide but one. Let's look at this from a perspective of a university or an institute or whatever you want to call it. So again, the top, and that's why I put last night, universities and schools. These together constitute what is the human resource over here. And the first collaboration has to be between the schools and universities.